desperately, I say desperately, need to be celebrating the feast of the saints, John the Baptist last week, Peter and Paul this week. If it was a matter of just historical memory of the church, of two great figures, monumental figures who turned the world upside down, as it says, that would be one thing. But the church gives us the apostles, and especially on this day and tomorrow, the leaders of the apostles, Peter and Paul, sometimes difficult relationship, but you see in their icon, many icons in which they're embracing because they love God and God unites them and they love each other. We need them, and the church gives them to us for our edification because they are alive in God. They are part of God's council, God's glorious assembly of the saints. They speak to us of prophetic things. They were prophets. They spoke the truth of things to come and things that are and things that we need to do. We have their epistles. It's not just stories. They were priests and they offered the mystical sacrifice. They were the very image of what a bishop is to be. They ordained presbyters and deacons and they made bishops. They were healers. They were unmercenaries in that sense. One was married, one was celibate. In all cases, they are relevant to us. St. Peter's conversion was over time, over 3 years. It was simple calling, follow me. He dropped his nets, left his father, he and his brother Andrew. Here's Peter next to Andrew. By the way, that little rock there, Catherine Ostling brought that back from below the Church of St. Peter in Rome, where it said that he was martyred and buried. So she kind of stuck that in her purse when no one was looking. And Father Patrick embedded it into the plaster. So Peter, the rock of faith, has his rock right there. A simple calling, it seemed like, just follow me. But then it took 3 years for him to really convert. He had to deal with the cross, which most of us don't want to deal with, honestly. And he had to deal with his terrible betrayal, his three-time betrayal, which then was healed by Christ, as we heard in this gospel tonight. His threefold question, Peter, lovest thou me? And he was restored. St. Paul had a very dramatic conversion, and it kept being dramatic and epic all the way through the book of Acts and what he describes in Corinthians about his troubles, about the shipwrecks, about the imprisonments, the beatings, the betrayals, the hunger, the thirst. And yet he says he glories in all of those things. In both of these images of what it means to be a Christian, despite the fact that they are so far above us, they can inspire us to what it means to be a Christian. In our difficulties, in our sufferings, in our weakness, God's strength is manifest. In our betrayals, in our pettiness, in our complaining, they bring us back again. So let these two be, as we have here in the church, pillars of your soul. Let them turn your soul upside down. Not just this is why they're current, they're modern, they're for us today. They speak to us, and if we listen to them, we're surprised, we're shaken, and then we decide, I do have to follow Christ. I have nothing else. So we have to celebrate the memories and the feast days of the saints. It's what makes us healthy Christians. Without that, we're lacking. There's something missing in us. So I greet you all. I thank the choir for coming on a Sunday afternoon. I thank Matushka Alejandra and your children for baking the latte bread. I thank the altar servers for preparing the church and then serving beautifully. I thank the other clergy for being here. I thank all of you, and I thank those that made this beautiful surround. And especially, I thank God for this feast day and the apostles Peter and Paul. Amen.